What's up, YouTube? Captain Redbeard back on the Division 2, and today I was going to talk to you guys about what build I use for legendary content. I get asked that question quite a bit, and the short answer is it all depends. What it all depends on is basically what's everybody else got on for a build. You know, supporting modifications and talents and stuff like that, right? So who's got the Coyotes mask on? So that's the first thing I try to check if I'm going to get into a group or whatever. Even if I'm doing like a random legendary with just random players, I'm just trying to see how we can attack it best, right? So this is the build that I use when I'm doing a lot of stuff solo. It's kind of like my go-to. When you look at my loadouts, it's right there on the top, striker. Okay, so it's a 4-piece striker utilizing the chest piece in the backpack, the Coyote mask, and Piccaro's holster. Pretty standard, right? St. Elmo's engine, gunner specialization, and of course the Crusader shield and the Reviver hive. Now, real quick, if you look at the stats and you come down here to the critical hit chance, it's at 48%. Why isn't it at 60%? You know, why do I have it at 48? Well, the reason I have it there is because when you equip the Coyote's mask, if you look at the talent, Packed Instincts, you and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. 0 to 15 meters is plus 25% critical hit damage. 15 to 25 meters is plus 10% critical hit damage and plus 10% critical hit chance. And 25 meters plus is plus 25% critical hit chance. I'm more of a medium to longer range player when I'm doing legendaries especially. So that makes up for the lack of having that critical hit chance here in my build. I did that on purpose, and for me it works really well. A lot of you might like to get a little bit closer, you know, more of a face tank type gameplay style, but for me this is how this works, and that's what I kept in mind when I put the build together like this. So if you look at the mask, I have a crit chance on that for the mod. I have damage on the backpack, chance on the chest piece, damage on the holster, damage on the knee pads, and that's just how I got it going, you know, for how I like to play. Now, the way it's set up, you can see it's got 1.5 million armor. I know there's a ton of people that like to run all red builds. Again, it's all situational to who's in your group with you. Do you have a good healer with you? If you do, that's great. You don't need all that armor. This is just base. This is how I do it, like if I'm just kind of going in and I don't know what to expect. Some people don't have their microphones on. You can't talk to them. You can see what they got for a build on. And unfortunately, a lot of the time when I try to matchmake for legendaries, I know it's just not going to work. So I'll try to type onto the screen to try to communicate a little bit so we can, you know, get our ducks in a row and get ready to do the legendary. And, you know, people don't respond, so I'm not going to go in there and just try to run it for no reason if I believe it's not going to work. I mean, some of the Franken builds that people put together, they're just not using any real synergy in the build. So, I mean, you have to understand the frustration that come from a lot of people, the leaders of the raids and stuff like that, people who matchmake for legendary content. It's frustrating because it's almost like you're wanting to do these legendaries, you want to go through this content, but you're not even looking at the builds and researching them a little bit. It's not hard. There's so many people on YouTube, so many different gamers, great gamers. There's a lot of really good content. This is not a business for me. This is just a hobby for me. There's a lot of huge gamers out there, and they've done so many more builds than I have. All I do is try to show you the builds I put together and how they work for me. I don't write titles on my stuff, best legendary build. I don't do that, because how the hell do I know that's the best legendary build to put together? I don't. So this is just it's just a quick video just to give you a little bit of a rundown on that. You got to look at the synergy of the build. You know, you can run this a whole bunch of different ways if you want. You can, you know, if you're running the Ouroboros or an SMG, you can put Sokolov chest piece with Obliterate, get rid of the chest piece for the striker, change it to a striker holster. You could run it like that. I mean, you know, if you're using the St. Elmo's engine and you want to take away the Picaro's holster, you can put the striker's holster. You can put a Fenris chest piece on there. Same thing, Obliterate. If you like the survivability a bit more, you can put Unbreakable on there. But generally, in legendary content, you're not surviving. You can go in there with 2.2 million armor, and it doesn't matter. You're not going to have enough DPS to do any damage. This is just my really happy medium that I use. I do have a video that I posted, I think a few weeks ago, where I did Tidal Bazin on a legendary. This is the build I was using. Sometimes I change it up depending on what the group has equipped that I'm with. You know, I'll say maybe take away the holster and put an improvised holster and put some protection from elites using the survivalist specialization because it gives you more protection from elites, and then switch a couple of the mods to that protection from elites. But I try to get around 50% protection from elites no matter how I do the build. That's just one of the ways I do it. And it's not bad, so just keep that in mind. But this is a really good standard build here. It's just kind of like a baseline build for a lot of you new players. I run Countdown quite a bit. I talk to a lot of players in there that haven't been playing the game that long, and they're looking for information on how to, you know, get this stuff done. It's really not hard. And again, the internet's your best friend. So there it is. There's the basic striker build breakdown. And again, for the new players, the reason I'm using the backpack and the chest piece, if you don't know, your backpacks and your chest piece in the game, they come with talents. Alright? Your gloves, your knee pads, your holster, they don't come with talents. Right? Your masks and stuff like that, if they're exotic, just like the Coyote mask, you know, the Talents Pack Instinct. The Catharsis mask here has the Vicious Cycle, as you can see. But the talents on the striker is why I'm running them. The talent here on the backpack is Risk Management. Increases total weapon damage gained per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65% to 1%. So each stack that you gain with the striker, okay, if you just have a 4-piece of standard striker, you're getting 0.65%, but if you're utilizing the backpack, it bumps that up to 1%, so that's a huge increase. And then the chest piece, the talents Press the Advantage, increases max stacks for Striker's Gamble from 100 to 200. So now, instead of just having that 100 stacks at 1% damage, I'm getting 200 stacks at 1% damage. Now, because I get so much really good feedback from all you guys, someone had pointed out to me on one of my builds, I was running a 4-piece striker utilizing the chest piece, which really wasn't the way to go. And the reason why it wasn't the way to go is because having 200 stacks with a lot of armor on that in particular build that I had, I was never going to really even come up to half stacks. So it didn't matter. The better approach would be to run the backpack and get the Risk Management talent. And then it opens up the slot for whatever you want to run for a chest piece. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Little things like that. You know, early on when I started playing the game, I had a bit of a hard time understanding some of the builds, but not like Division 1. Those ones were a lot more intricate as far as I'm concerned. But it's really not hard. This game's great. I can't wait to see what Division's going to be putting together for the 3rd installment of the franchise. If you guys have any questions or comments at all, leave it in the comment section below. I'm really enjoying the interaction. But there it is. Coyote's Mask, 4-piece striker, Picaro's holster, pretty standard, and the St. Elmo's engine. If you don't have the St. Elmo's engine, just run Countdown. Target assault rifles, you'll get one. If it doesn't have the right rolls, you know, pretty commonly used by most players is going to be that third attribute there on the bottom, damage to target out of cover. If it comes with like swap speed or whatever, that's fine. You can always re-roll that weapon. You just have to have the exotic component so you can roll it to whatever attribute you want down there, and then you just optimize it. You're good to go. Start putting your expertise into it. I'll do another video talking about how I did my expertise, how I didn't understand it in the beginning, some of the issues that I was having with it, with the understanding about it. But yeah, there it is. St. Elmo's engine, striker build. Reason I'm using the rock and roll is so I can build stacks. Build stacks based on all the pellets from each shot, and the rock and roll has a 30 round mag because the talent is perfectly extra, plus 50% magazine capacity. The other shotguns will do just fine. You know, they're 20 rounds, but the ACS-12 will do just fine. The lefty, if you have those are great. All right, and that'll do it for me. Just a quick video. Some newer players I just ran into. I told them I'd put this video up explaining that. We were in countdown. There wasn't enough time to discuss it. If you like this video, hit that like, subscribe, help me support my channel. I appreciate you guys. And that does it for me. I'm Captain Redbeard 253, and I'm going to get out of here. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.